DJ Payne 1.
Hello, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for September 30th, 2025. On today's episode, we will be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and them maybe trading A.J. Brown this offseason, question mark. We're also going to be talking about the New York Jets and why fans should be excited after last night's game, even though they lost. But it's not for the reason you may think. And I also want to get into some college football and talk about Brian Kelly and what's going on there. But before we get into the episode, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, so after the Eagles beat the Buccaneers on Sunday, A.J. Brown came out with two tweets pretty much saying that, hey, I'm not very happy where I'm at, and I might want to be moved from the current situation that I'm in. So I understand where fans come from when they're like, hey, look, you're getting paid. Stop being selfish. Suck it up for the team. I get it. I also understand where the player's coming from when he says, hey, look, I want the ball. I want to make an impact. This isn't Jahan Dotson saying that I want the ball. I can make an impact. No, this is A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is one of the best receivers in football. For the sake of argument, top 5 receiver, no doubt about it. You can make a case that he's above that, right? And not only that, I mean, PFF going into the season rated A.J. Brown as the number 1 receiver in their rankings. Number 1 receiver in their rankings. Like, that's impressive. A.J. Brown has turned around this Eagles offense ever since he's gotten to this team. That offense was not nearly as good as it was without A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown came into this team. He turned around the offense right away. And now he's not getting the ball. And he's like, whoa. What we were doing in 2022, we were getting me the ball. We were scoring on pretty much every single possession. I mean, the Eagles offense in 2022 was outstanding. Like, the numbers don't really show it because they were beating teams by as much as they were beating them. But that offense in 2022, that was a balanced attack. That was the most dangerous Eagles offense that I've seen. Jalen Hurts had a lot more juice in his legs, a lot better passer back then than he has been in these previous years. But I look at A.J. Brown and I see him saying that, and he's saying, I can make an impact. But I'm on the side of A.J. Brown when it comes to this, because it's easy for fans to say, suck it up, don't be selfish, and be for your team. I get that. But at the same time, the receiver position, more than any other position in football, is reliant on another position to make plays, right? That's the quarterback. So wide receivers get paid to make plays. If the quarterback's not getting them the football, they can't make plays, which means they're not reaching their incentives, which means their market value isn't as high as it should be. And not only that, A.J. Brown is chasing legacy, right? And when A.J. Brown looks around at some of the receivers that get looked at as some of the greatest of all time, I mean, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Julio Jones, it's not like these guys won, right? Did Terrell Owens win a Super Bowl? I'm sorry. Terrell Owens, did he win a Super Bowl with the 49ers? He played in one with the Philadelphia Eagles. I was right. I just had to make 100% sure there. But yeah, like when you look at some of the best receivers of all time, they haven't won Super Bowls. A.J. Brown looks at that and he says, I want to be one of those guys. Those guys are some of the best receivers of all time because those guys made a massive impact on the game. And right now, he's not making an impact for his team. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the offense wants to be a more ball control, run first offense where they control time of possession and they keep their defense off the field and rested. And then when their defense comes on the field, they're rested and they're ready to go. But I understand both sides of the story, but I more so sympathize with A.J. Brown here because he could be looked at as one of the best receivers of this generation. And at the current moment, he's not. Like when you look at the top 3 receivers of this generation, I think people are going to look at it and say, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. Maybe not in that order, but those are the 3 guys that stand out. And I think that A.J. Brown could absolutely be in that conversation of guys who really stand out. He just doesn't have the opportunity to show it. And when the Eagles give A.J. Brown the football, this guy is outstanding. Their offense looks explosive. It looks high-powered. It looks like it should look. So I understand where A.J. Brown is coming from, where he's like, when you give me the ball, our offense is way more explosive. We can move the ball a lot easier, and we can put more points on the board, and we can be more effective. So why am I not getting the ball more? I understand where he's coming from. And I don't think that A.J. Brown is a diva wide receiver. Not in the slightest. And the only reason why A.J. Brown hasn't been more outspoken about this is because of the fact that they're winning football games. But at the same time, like I see people say like, oh, well, you don't see Devontae Smith doing this. Stop. Devontae Smith is not in the same planet as A.J. Brown as a wide receiver. Not even close. I don't want to hear that. Are the Eagles going to trade A.J. Brown? I think that they're going to trade him in the offseason. I think that the Eagles are going to get tired of A.J. Brown's antics. I think that they're going to have to end up paying other players as well. So having that contract on the books is something that might not be beneficial to them. And I don't think they need A.J. Brown to win football games. It's not their identity. They can go and trade A.J. Brown for, a receiver that's in that 20 to 30 range and get more draft capital, and they'll be fine because that's not their identity. The Eagles win games because of, 1, their defense, and 2, their run game. I get it. Their run game hasn't been great this year, but it's still, when I look at the Eagles, that's how they win football games. That's how they won a Super Bowl. They didn't win a Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts was this crazy thrower of the football. No. Yeah, you played well in the Super Bowl. I got it. But they got to that point because they were effective running the football. And that's their identity. And when you look at this, honestly, their identity is defense because their defense is, whoa, man, holy cow. You look at the young talent on that defense, that's going to be the identity of their football team going forward. They have a coordinator that has consistency, that has an understanding of the personnel. That's where they want to go. So are the Eagles going to trade A.J. Brown? Yeah, I think they're going to trade A.J. Brown. They're going to trade him in the offseason. They're going to trade him for probably a wide receiver that is in that 20 to 30 range. They'll get draft capital for him, and they'll be able to pay some more of their other players because they can't keep everybody. And if you're not going to be able to keep everybody, go trade the guy that is telling you, hey, I don't really want to be here that much because my talents aren't being used to the best of my ability. I don't believe A.J. Brown wants to be in Philadelphia. I don't believe that that's the case. I believe he wants to go somewhere where he's going to get the football more. I don't think he loves playing with Jalen Hurts. I don't. And the reason why I know he doesn't love playing with Jalen Hurts, you don't hear him out there saying all these amazing things about Jalen Hurts. And I don't hear him out there. As a matter of fact, I heard him say, what was wrong with the offense? Passing. Who does that refer to? The quarterback. He watches the tape. He's in the game. He sees that he can get open. He sees that the quarterback has all day to throw the football and still can't find him. And I think that you're looking at a situation where, where would A.J. Brown go to? Maybe the Bills. That's a good destination. Maybe the Chiefs. You add A.J. Brown to those teams, holy cow, you're talking about a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think a smart trade that the Eagles can make for A.J. Brown is trading him to Buffalo for Keon Coleman, and you get some other draft picks. And the reason why I say that is because Keon Coleman is of that same archetype of A.J. Brown. He's that big body X receiver. I think it's beneficial for both sides. I think that the Bills would get a legit dude on that team. And I also think the Eagles would get a solid young receiver and a guy that I think would maybe fit the culture a little more than A.J. Brown does because of the fact that he's not a guy that understands that he's not A.J. Brown. That's really what I mean by that. So, excuse me for that. It's an interesting situation in Philadelphia, to say the least, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And for the Eagles' sake, for A.J. Brown's sake, hopefully they can find amends here and just move on, because the Eagles are a great team, and A.J. Brown contributes to them being a great football team. So I want to move on to the New York Jets. And I want to talk about why maybe it's not as bad as Jets fans think it is. The New York Jets are an absolute train wreck. They're, to me, I think, the worst team in football. I thought they were going to be the worst team in football going into the season, and I was proven right. Like, this team is bad, and I don't love Aaron Glenn as a coach. I think people loved Aaron Glenn as a defensive coordinator, and I think they saw that and was like, oh, he's rah-rah. He's going to have a culture here in New York. This team, it's not good, right? And I personally, I get that Justin Fields is doing some good things at the quarterback position, but are you really trying to tell me that Justin Fields is the long-term answer for the New York Jets? And this is why, to me, the New York Jets losing last night was not a bad thing. The New York Jets are going to draft Dante Moore. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be the number 1 overall pick. They're going to draft Dante Moore, and they're going to have their quarterback for the future. This young man has it. What it is, he has it. Calm, poised, a good demeanor for the quarterback position. He's exceptionally talented. If the Jets can go out there and get Dante Moore, that changes their entire franchise. They needed a quarterback for the longest. It didn't work with Zach Wilson. It didn't work with Rodgers. Justin Fields actually looks like there might be something there. But if you have the number 1 overall pick, you're not keeping Justin Fields over Dante Moore. That would be stupid if the Jets did that. Go get your quarterback of the future. And they're going to be in prime position to do that. Because this team, when you look at the Jets and where they're going this season, I think they're going to lose this week to the Cowboys, so they're going to be 0-5. They have the Broncos 0-6. They may be able to win a few of their next 4 following that, but I don't know. I see this team at best as a 3-win football team, 3-4-win football team. And if they're a 3 or 4-win football team, they're going to be in a position to draft a quarterback high in this draft. And is that guy Dante Moore? It should be, because Dante Moore is, I think, the best prospect in this draft. It was Garrett Nussmeier for me, but as we've been seeing recently with Garrett Nussmeier and his struggling play recently, it doesn't look great over there. But Dante Moore absolutely would be a great fit for that team. I don't think that the Jets are maybe as far away as people think from being a solid football team. I get it. They're 0-4 right now, and it does not look good for them. But I do think that there are some things that you can look at going forward and say, hey, if we get the number 1 overall pick and we get a quarterback like Dante Moore, holy cow, can this team be something to reckon with. So, on the topic of Aaron Glenn, what should the Jets do there? I think they got to wait and see how this plays out, right? Like the Jets this year have been an absolute train wreck. And I think that, yeah, I wasn't as big of a fan of the hire of Aaron Glenn as a lot of other people were, right? Like I think Aaron Glenn was a really good defensive coordinator. And I think that a lot of people looked at that and said, wow, this guy's going to instill a culture in New York. They're going to be completely different. And then I heard the whole thing with Rodgers where he had Aaron Rodgers fly into New York just to tell him that they don't want him on the team. I'm like, dude, get out of here, man. Seriously, one of the greatest players to ever play the sport, and that's how you're going to treat him. I get it. Aaron Rodgers wasn't great for that organization, but you bring in one of the greatest players to ever play the sport. You have him fly across country just to tell him, yeah, we're not interested in having you as our quarterback. I don't know. To me, when I heard that, I was like, this guy's trying too hard. So the Jets could be in a situation where they're looking for a new quarterback and a new head coach at the end of the season. Like, what would it take for the Jets to move on from Aaron Glenn by the end of the season? Would it be maybe going 2, 3, 4 wins? Would that be enough for the Jets to say, we've seen enough. We're going to move on from you? I think that could be the case. And where would the Jets go from here? Because there's no offensive coordinator candidate that's like really standing out as like, this is a guy, because they need to go the offensive way, right? Like they've been doing this thing where they've had defensive head coaches. They're trying to recreate the Rex Ryan years where, you know, Rex Ryan led them to an AFC championship game. Like that's what they're trying to recreate. But the problem is it's just not working. Go get your quarterback. Go get an offensive coordinator, a really good play caller that's going to be able to stick with that quarterback and have consistency with that quarterback over a number of years. And I think they'll be all right. I want to move on to LSU. So LSU suffered a loss over the weekend to Ole Miss in Ole Miss. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. I mean, Ole Miss is a top 10 team in the country. They're playing in Ole Miss. And Ole Miss got up for that game and they beat LSU. Like, credit to them. If LSU doesn't make the college football playoffs again, is there a world where LSU moves on from Brian Kelly? Because at this point, you have to say to yourself, okay, we have an extremely talented roster. I don't know how more talented we can build a roster, how much more talented a roster can be, and you're still not able to make the college football playoffs. Like, you wanted a better defense. They got you a better defense. Now you're looking at a situation with them where their offense is really struggling. Their offense has been a big problem so far this season. Garrett Nussmeier has regressed. I thought he was the best quarterback in the country coming into the season. I no longer believe he's the best quarterback in the country. I believe that's Dante Moore. And I don't even think, maybe Garrett Nussmeier is not even a top 5 quarterback in the country. When you look at guys like John Mateer and Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore coming into the fold. Is Garrett Nussmeier a top 5 quarterback in the country? I don't know. He's been underwhelming this year. And I thought that this was a guy who was going to come in and be a legitimate top flight draft pick. And he has been underwhelming this year. Like, that game against Ole Miss is a game that you go into and you win that game if you're the number 1 overall pick. I mean, I saw Dante Moore with Oregon go into Penn State with the whiteout and be as poised and as calm as he was and be as effective as he was. It wasn't a problem for him. The moment didn't look too big for him. But Garrett Nussmeier against Ole Miss, just not good enough. I think LSU has to ask himself the question, is Brian Kelly the answer here? And if the answer to that question is no, if the answer to the question is we cannot win a national championship with Brian Kelly, I think that you need to move accordingly. You need to move quickly, and you need to identify that and say, okay, We need to move on here. But that's going to be it for the show today, guys. I'm a little under the weather today, so sorry to cut it short. But make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure to check out the other shows on the Kretschman Media Network, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.